Today in the episode, Russia says Putin's residence attacked. Institute for the Study of War reveals these claims as false. No evidence whatsoever to confirm that. While what is confirmed is Russian bloodthirsty desire. 2 murdered in a Russian attack on the Kherson region last night. 2 more wounded, including a child. Ukraine's experience in this war is invaluable, and it has integrated into the final phase of NATO's Loyal Dolos 2025 exercises. Learn more in our reportage. As pressure on Moscow mounts to achieve peace, the attack on Putin's Valdai residence happens all of a sudden. At least the Russian Defense Ministry claims it happened, and allegedly shoot down many drones over it. As much as 89, Lavrov reports. However, ISW doesn't think so. Of course, the fact that all these drones were said to be downed over the regions of Russia that don't even border the Novgorod region, where Putin's Valdai residence is located, does not seem to bother anyone in Russia, and not so much in Trump's administration just as well. Russian Foreign Minister Comrade Lavrov swiftly announced a shift in Moscow's negotiating position. There is no shift, of course, because there is nothing to shift, as Russia 6 times rejected all the proposals on the table, and all the proposals were American, not Ukrainian ones, by the way. Still, Lavrov says that Russia does not intend to withdraw from what it calls the diplomatic process, but the Kremlin has already identified targets and a time frame for further strikes on Ukraine to retaliate for the strike that never happened. As usual, the Russians did not provide any evidence whatsoever. There is no video of the attack reported in Moscow, nor is there any footage available on Russian social media. President of Ukraine, Volodymyr Zelenskyy, called all these obviously fake statements from Russia that Ukraine allegedly striking some residents of the Russian dictator dangerous, as these are obviously aimed at one thing and one thing only: disrupting all the achievements of the joint work of both Ukrainian and American teams towards peace.
This alleged resident strike story is a complete fabrication intended to justify additional attacks against Ukraine, including Kyiv, as well as Russia's own refusal to take necessary steps to end the war. Typical Russian lies. Furthermore, the Russians have already targeted Kyiv in the past, including the Cabinet of Ministers building. Volodymyr Zelenskyy, President of Ukraine, on X.
Minister of Foreign Affairs of Ukraine, Andriy Sybiha, urged the leaders of other countries to be cautious in their statements regarding fake attack on Putin's residence. He reminded when Russia, on September 7, 2025, struck the real Ukrainian government's building.
We were disappointed and concerned to see the statements by Emirati, Indian, and Pakistani sides expressing their concerns regarding the attack that never happened. It is even more surprising given that all 3 states failed to issue any official statements when a real Russian missile struck the real Ukrainian government building on September 7, 2025. Russia has a long record of false claims. It's their signature tactic. For instance, Russia claimed it wouldn't attack Ukraine in the beginning of 2022. They also often accuse others of what they themselves plan to do. Their words should never be taken at face value. Such reactions to Russia's baseless, manipulative claims only play into Russian propaganda and encourage Moscow for more atrocities and lies. Andriy Sybiha, Minister of Foreign Affairs of Ukraine, on X.
The war is onwards. Ukrainian armed forces strike Russian drone base in temporarily occupied Donetsk. Commander of the Unmanned Systems Forces, Robert Magyar-Brovdy, has confirmed this. And, what is important, has shown it in a proof video. The Ukrainian military has also destroyed a storage and training site for Russian drones at the airport in temporarily occupied Donetsk. The Russians were preparing and launching Shahed, Geranium, and Gerbera drones there to do what Russians always are doing, to ruin Ukrainian lives. What Putin and his army actually do is launching their deadly drones and rockets at civilian targets in Ukrainian cities. Here is what Russia destroyed and damaged last night alone in Ukraine. 2 people murdered in a Russian terror attack on the Kherson region last night. 2 more wounded, including a child, according to local authorities. Russian forces targeted critical and social infrastructure, as well as residential areas in the region, damaging 4 private households. In the Kharkiv region, 1 person injured in a Russian strike over the past 24 hours, according to Oleg Sinigubov, head of the Kharkiv Regional Military Administration. Russian troops attacked the region with various types of drones. Last night, Russian forces also shelled Zaporizhzhia, a woman injured, according to local authorities. Infrastructure and residential buildings also damaged. Emergency services continue their work as of now. Russia also attacked a power grid facility in Chernihiv region last night. Due to the power outage, Zaporizhzhia temporarily restricted commuter train service. The emergency restoration work is underway. Part of the region has been left without power supply completely. There are also outages in the Sumy and Kharkiv regions. Meanwhile, in Vysherod, Kyiv Oblast, efforts continue to deal with the aftermath of the brutal December 27th Russian terror attack. The city has been left without power for 4 days in a row. 14 powerful generators have been installed and connected, providing heating systems in 22 apartment buildings where the situation is critical during this frosty weather. This was reported by the State Emergency Service of Ukraine. In addition, invincibility points continue to operate in Vysherod. In addition to permanent shelters, heated tents with alternative power supplies have been set up. At least, people can charge their devices and stay warm there. For the first time, Ukrainian experts has joined the development of the actual mechanisms of Article 5 of the NATO treaty. They took part in the Loyal Dolos 2025 drills. This means that Ukraine is de facto becoming part of the collective defense architecture of NATO, the General Staff of the Armed Forces of Ukraine reported. Why the Ukrainian experience is of such importance for the future of Europe and the North Atlantic Alliance. The answer is in our next story for you.
Ukraine's military experience in fighting aggression from Russia has been integrated into the final phase of NATO's Loyal Dolos 2025 exercises. These exercises are designed to assess the combat capabilities of alliance units. About 1,500 servicemen and civilian specialists practice scenarios in various locations across Europe. Thus, the North Atlantic Council recognized Ukraine as one of the most experienced participants in the regional security system, stated the Ukrainian Armed Forces.
Ukrainian experts' involvement has strategic significance for us, as it was the first time Ukraine took part in practicing the alliance's collective security mechanisms. This contributed to the North Atlantic Council's recognition of Ukraine as one of the most experienced participants in the regional security system, and to a clearer understanding of the importance of cooperation with the security and defense forces of Ukraine, from a publication by General Staff of the Armed Forces of Ukraine on Facebook.
In autumn 2025, the United Kingdom announced that it would sign an agreement with Ukraine on joint development and production of advanced military equipment. The first project will be a new interceptor drone for air defense called Project Octopus. Its mass production will begin in the United Kingdom, where they plan to produce thousands of such drones per month for transfer to Ukraine. At the end of November 2025, the defense ministers of Ukraine and Norway signed an agreement on joint drone production. In 2026, they plan to quickly deploy a pilot production line and work in parallel on further increasing capacities.
Ukraine will share its experience and innovations with Norway. In turn, we will receive a strong production site that will provide our warriors with modern drones, as well as research and design cooperation with leading Norwegian institutions, Denise Schmihal, Minister of Defense of Ukraine, on Telegram.
Such projects have become an example of cooperation that Ukraine is building with partners. This is cooperation that strengthens the defense capability of all free world countries.
No other European army has similar experience of modern war. Therefore, it would be a very big mistake on the part of the EU not to immediately integrate battle-tested Ukrainian capabilities. We need such integration now, not in 10 or more years. Andrius Kubilius, European Commissioner for Defense and Space, in an address at the Conference on Ukraine's European Future.
Ukraine's experience on the front is becoming the foundation of European security, experts state. Over the years of full-scale war, Ukraine has demonstrated the ability to destroy Russia's strategic bombers in the deep rear, strike Russian oil refineries, and affect the combat capability of the Kremlin's Black Sea Fleet. According to the head of the main Directorate of Intelligence of the Ministry of Defense of Ukraine, Kirilo Budanov, Ukraine's experience in conducting modern war, from the use of drones to cyber defense, is today studied by military theorists, inventors, and engineers from leading countries of the world. It will become the foundation for collective defense.
We are very grateful to our American partners and all our allies who have supported us throughout this war with weapons and equipment. We hope that they will continue to provide us with comprehensive support, but we also hope that our European partners and allies, if necessary, will be ready to provide everything needed for our just war against the aggressor. Because now we are defending not only ourselves but all of Europe. And it is extremely important for all Europeans that we continue to do this, because if we are not here, others will have to fight in Europe.
Chief of the Defense Staff of Italy General Luciano Portolano stated that the Italian Ministry of Defense continues to provide Ukraine with bilateral military aid worth more than 3 billion euros. The Italian general also drew attention to the changing nature of modern threats. According to him, even in peacetime, attacks can be directed at critical infrastructure, communication networks, and cyber systems. And he emphasized that defense is no longer limited exclusively to the battlefield, but directly concerns civilians, who must be an active part of collective security. Reported by Natalia Husak, Volodymyr Chernihiv, UATV News.
That's all for today's News Digest. Like the video, subscribe to the channel, and leave a comment. Your feedback matters. Stay informed. Stay with us.